A single strike of dry lightning can ignite the savanna in seconds, turning parched grass into a wall of fire. Water is a seasonal luxury here. Severe droughts often grip the region for months, drying out riverbeds and forcing every living thing into a desperate search for moisture. On the surface, this looks like an environment in its final hours. A landscape defined by extreme scarcity and lethal competition should, by any logical measure, consume itself and collapse. Yet the reality is the opposite. This ecosystem has not only survived these volatile conditions, it has thrived with a rhythmic consistency for millions of years. The native Masai people have observed this rhythm for generations. They recognize that the savanna isn't a place of random violence, but a land operating under a hidden, ancient order. The Mara functions as a perfectly tuned biological machine. In this system, every animal is an employee with a mandatory job, executing a specific task required to prevent systemic failure. The maintenance of this machine begins with the foundational workforce, the gardeners. This role is filled by the region's largest herbivores, giraffes and elephants. The giraffe provides a specialized utility. By browsing on the highest foliage, they sculpt the acacia trees, shaping the canopy and preventing the woodland from becoming too dense, while sustaining themselves through the dry season. Elephants act as the savanna's heavy-duty groundskeepers. They bulldoze through thickets and consume smaller bushes, a process that stops the brush from encroaching on the open plains. During a drought, their work becomes even more vital. Elephants use their tusks to dig deep into dry riverbeds, excavating wells that function as a public water utility for dozens of other species. Without this constant cycle of pruning and bulldozing, the nutrient-rich open plains that define the Mara would simply cease to exist, replaced by an unproductive tangle of shrubs. To prevent these landscapers from overexploiting the land, the system relies on its regulators, the apex predators. These predators use two distinct methodologies for population control. While the lion relies on sudden, explosive force, hyenas, like this pack, specialize in psychological attrition, pursuing prey until it is too exhausted to resist. The primary value of these carnivores lies in the landscape of fear they create. Their presence dictates the behavior and movement of every herd on the plains. This pressure forces herds to stay in constant motion. When the red arrows of predators appear, herds are pushed into new territories. This movement aligns their grazing with seasonal plant growth rates, allowing vegetation time to recover and regrow. This creates a paradoxical balance. If the threat of the lion were removed, the herds would stay in one place until the grass was destroyed, leading the entire ecosystem towards starvation. This constant motion fuels the Great Migration, a massive biological engine that transports energy and nutrients across hundreds of miles of savanna. The engine runs on a strict program. Millions of wildebeests and zebras march northward in a relentless pursuit of the rain, tracking the moisture needed to grow the next cycle of grass. However, the migration must pass through the system's harshest checkpoint, the Mara River. This turbulent barrier stands between the herds and their survival. Inside the water, crocodiles act as patient executioners. They are energy-efficient hunters who wait all year for this seasonal influx of food to arrive. The herds are forced into a grim calculation. They can see the predators in the water, but the biological drive to reach fresh grass and avoid starvation eventually forces them to take the risk. This crossing serves as an impartial filtering mechanism. By testing the stamina, timing, and physical resolve of every individual, the river ensures that only the strongest genetics continue the journey. Every kill in the tall grass and every death at the river is a necessary transfer of energy. These moments are the fuel required to sustain the machinery of the entire Mara. This ecological reality is mirrored in the ancient knowledge of the Masai. They recognize Enkai Narak, the black god, who brings the rain and the life-giving water that allows the grass to grow. But they also respect Enkai Nanyoki, the red god. He is the provider of lightning, fire, and the biting hunger of the dry season. For the Masai, these are not separate entities, but two sides of the same truth. You cannot manufacture life and growth without the presence of hardship and destruction. The ultimate lesson of the Mara is that sustainability is not found in the absence of struggle. It is found in the balance of a machine, where creation and destruction are equal, required partners in the work of staying alive.